Happy viewers, welcome to the presentation on business policies on human resources. What is a business policy? A business policy is basically the guideline developed by an organization to govern its action. It basically guides the middle and top management in the decision process. Such policies are in place for all functional areas starting from production, marketing, finance, HR, pricing, procurement, logistics, and so on. And this presentation will discuss the policies with respect to the HR function. Let us first look into some of the strategic related areas. An organization basically requires a highly committed and competent workforce. Only then you will be able to think about any competitive advantage in terms of cost leadership or uniqueness can be developed. So it is a responsibility of the HR department to develop a committed and competent workforce. Second is building a core competency. Building a core competency basically requires a creative and dynamic leadership, having faith in the organization's human resources. In fact, an excellent example one can think of is the power lunch concept followed by General Electric. In General Electric, the chairman, what they do, once in a month, they call some 200 people across the organization, particularly at the level which normally do not have the opportunity to interact with the chairman, to come for lunch with the chairman. I spend about 2 to 3 hours along with the chairman. The basic idea is to capture the thoughts and some of the ideas and other things, because normally otherwise the organization hierarchy act like a filters in the organization. So this particular thing helps to remove those concepts. Another very important thing HR's responsibility is that the active involvement of the employees in any strategic implementation is very, very important. I am just taking an example of a ERP implementation in an organization. It's one of the very important concept, affect all the employees in the organization starting from the lowermost person to the top management. So it basically you have to involve them at every stage, starting from the planning stage to execution stage, implementation stage. So you have to explain them the concept, then only the implementation will be successful. Even recruitment of employees. See, it's one of the very important concepts. Whether I should take the recruitment only at a trainee level or I can even take it at a lateral entrance is a very important question. Many large organizations, many successful organizations, largely they take trainees as an entry level employee, and these people are subjected to 1 year training or 2 year training, and they are given basically a career path in the organization. In several organizations, the trainees join there, finally retire as a chairman and managing director. So it's a very classical case. But sometimes certain lateral entrance where you are not don't have the internal expertise and all that, you can do it. It is not a hard and fast rule, but try to keep it to the minimum. But there are some organizations who believe only in lateral entrance. So in that process, what will happen? The people will not stay in the organization for longer period of time. So there is a loss of continuity of knowledge, particularly in that plant area and maintenance area and all that. So it's not a very good concept to follow, but still it is followed by some organizations. Then innovation and change management. A vibrant work culture is required to encourage creative idea. See, today every organization is expected to create a vibrant work culture. But how it is going to do? It's not, easily said than done. But unless you do it, you may not be able to encourage creative ideas. Companies like Google, Biocon, they're all very success stories to think about. 3M, another very successful global innovative organization, they follow a concept called problem solving through dream. So there they allow the employees to even sleep for 15% of the time in a month. You can allow to sleep in the office itself. A lot of bedrooms are all provided there. The idea is that you can solve the problem through dream, because the dream has got different stages. Certain stages you will be able to solve the problem. And one of the interesting example you can quote here is that how exactly a person found out the structural formula for benzene. To address the technology migration related challenges. See, today again the technology migration is a very standard and important issue affecting all the organization. The key issue that comes there is that who exactly has to take the responsibility? Is it the organization or the employees? So that's an important policy decision should be in place to avoid the ambiguity. Preparing the employees for the change management process. As mentioned earlier, whenever an organization is going for any change management initiative like TQM, Total Quality Management, or ERP mentioned earlier, or 5S, or similar initiatives, you try to prepare the employees starting from the planning stage. why this particular concept is required, how it is useful to the employee, how it will be useful to the organization, why we should follow. If you do not follow, what is going to happen? Once you give a complete blueprint to the employees, then the change management process will be highly successful. Then performance and training related. You can always link the corporate performance with the individual performance. Today with the ERP system, it is very easily you can do it. That means basically you break the organization, let us say a sales target, into the individual sales people's target, so that you can find out where exactly the things are all going in reality. And the performance appraisal systems, if you look into, it should help to identify three category of people. One is high performers, second is the average performers, and third is the low or non-performant. High performers have to be rewarded, otherwise they will not stay in the organization. Average performers should be given an opportunity, so you can train them and allow them to perform, and you can also put them on the constant watch list. The low and non-performers can always be purged out of the system to bring new blood into the system. Constant review of training requirement is very important, because there is a need for reskilling the people. Today environment, lots of new technology platforms are coming. For example, artificial intelligence is coming, machine learning is coming, augmented reality, virtual reality, and so many technologies or platforms are coming up, and there is a need for skill requirement. How are you going to reskill the people? What is the training requirement? How are you going to execute the training? Can you do it in-house, or it has to be done outsourced? So it's a whole lot of things have to be planned by the HR department. Then job rotation. Job rotation policies are also required wherever you follow the job rotation. It is especially important whenever you are planning to put internal people for the top organization position, maybe a head of SPU, or even a managing director or a CEO or whatever it is. So you have to decide at what level you have to start to the job rotation. Should it be done at the manager level, or chief manager level, or general manager level, or vice president level? You can decide, and accordingly can put the system into place. And to train the employees on balancing the work and family. See, today the job requirements are all quite challenging. At the same time, you have to take care of your family also. So we have to basically train the employees how to balance the family and work, so that both will move in their own way very effectively, and both will support each other. Then only the employee will be able to perform better. People orientation. People orientation is one of the very important requirement. Unless it is done as demanded by the business, you may not be able to be very successful in all your initiatives. For example, if you go to TVS group of companies, the quality orientation is in everybody's blood. Similarly, if you go to the Birla group of companies, cost orientation is a basic mantra. Similarly, if you go to the startup companies or Google or 3M or Apple, innovation orientation is it's well understood. One need not have to even explain about it. Similarly, if you go to Hindustan Lever or Amul or Maruti, the customer orientation is the basic thing. That is why all these companies are all highly successful in their own terrain. Similarly, if you take companies like SPIC or ONGC or L&T, the technical orientation is very important, because they're all operating in a very technically oriented jobs. So where the technical skills really play a very important role. Today, data orientation is required for every organization, particularly IT and BPO companies who handle large amount of data. So definitely data orientation is must for this organization, definitely for other organizations also. And finally, if you take the sugar companies or tractor company or any companies handle the agri input marketing, so you need basically farmer orientation. You should be able to talk the farmer's language. You should be able to put yourself into the farmer's shoe. Then only you'll be able to be successful. So the entire organization have to be oriented to the particular requirement. We're not talking about only the marketing department. All the employees, starting from your HR department, finance department, procurement department, production department, everyone should have the orientation. That's what you're trying to highlight through this particular slide. And finally, let us see some of the other HR policies required. See, for example, when you're going to have multiple compensation, through a global M&A, mergers and acquisition, you'll be having people from different organizations, a different compensation structure, but still you should be able to manage them. That is going to be a very big challenge for them, for the HR people. Similarly, managing this diverse workforce, because as I mentioned in the previous point, either because of the global M&A, or even in a country like India, suppose I'm getting workforce from different states. The people from different states will be exhibiting different attitude, different cultural fate, team dynamics, hard work. Again, managing this diverse workforce for a common objective is going to be a very big challenge. And in an international workforce situation, is much more difficult because they're all going to come from different countries. How are you going to manage all these things is going to be a real task for the HR department. Strategies to attract and retain the married ex-woman employees. See, many women employees leave the organization because of family requirements, and they may stay back in the organization for various reasons. So and many of them are willing to come back and join back also. So unless you provide them the proper environment, proper policy support in terms of allow them to do work from home concept whenever it's required, or flexi working hours, or daycare centers in office, all these things will encourage these women to come back and join back in the organization because they're all experienced people, plus they're all well oriented to the organization's cultures and requirement. So they're all one of the very important work source. You cannot neglect them. And next important point is strategies to control the rising cost of labor. Today, all of you know very well, labor cost is going up. So you have to give a very close track of it. Which particular type of labor cost is going up? Whether you can outsource it. In case you outsource it, what are the challenges? In case you are not able to outsource, how exactly to handle the cost? Whether you'll be able to pass on to the customer. All these things the HR has to take a call before they present it to the management. And finally, what functions of HR to be outsourced and how to manage them is a last important point. Because today, a whole lot of HR functions, starting from PF, compensation, training, performance review, everything is getting outsourced. So if you're going to outsource, this outsourcing team should be able to talk the language of the organization. They should follow the culture. They should follow the practices. Then only the outsourcing will be successful. So the HR has to manage this outsourced team very effectively, and that is actually the real issue here. Hope I think you really understood the different HR policies to be in place for the successful running of the organization. Hope you really enjoyed this presentation. Thanks for your patient listening. Thank you once again.